So, regular show, The Lost Tapes have finally been released, or technically 2 days ago as of this recording. I'm currently recording at Wednesday at about 2 in the morning. So, it released around Monday. It released around Monday at approximately, I think it was like 4 a.m. or 4 p.m. Released on Cartoon Network, and after the season is released, it will finally be available on HBO Max and other devices, and or not devices, but streaming platforms. And the reason I want to make this video is because, holy shit, this is like how long in the making. We've been waiting for a reboot or just something from some of our favorite TV shows when we were younger. You know, regular show ended back in, I think, 2016, I think. Actually, yeah, so it aired on January of 2017, so it's been about almost a year, 9 years since we've got any updated or just anything new when it comes to regular show. And so most of y'all may know, regular show is of course one of the best TV shows that I've got to watch when I was younger. Probably top three all time when it comes to just like Cartoon Network or like cartoons, an animated show. You have that up there like Adventure Time, obviously regular show. Some other I just can't think of it right now. I'm tired. But I just mostly wanted to make this video catered around regular show. But yeah, regular show, of course, is, if you don't know, it's not a regular show at all. It's about two best friends, Mordecai and Rigby, who are in their early 20s working at a park with a couple of interesting characters, which span around a couple including Benson, Skips, Muscle Man, High Five Ghost, and some other various characters. And the whole point of the show is that it's not regular. It is not a regular show. It is anything but, as it literally says. But with that comes a lot of lore and a lot of interesting stories and instances in just the show itself that are just so amazing, and so it just drew me into it when I was younger. That really kind of just, I don't know how to say it, like, it's just cool seeing how a show that JQ Quintel just throws up and just makes up and just is able to just have all these different things be in it. Whether it's, you know, Rigby going into a food coma and Mordecai has to do an egg food challenge, like some Guy Fieri stuff to save his best friend, or when they wrote in their boss's park rule book, change, you know, certain things, and it came to real life and they made a huge snowball monster out of it. Their park, the actual park itself, flew into space. That was an interesting couple seasons. You know, Mordecai and Rigby ate a bunch of sugar and are able to slow down time. Point being that it is so much shit that gets just so many things happen. It's just such a great show because it's just, I mean, especially for younger audiences, it's just super cool. There's just so many different things, the relations, the pace of the show, all of it is just, it's just a really good show, a really good kids show for that matter. And so obviously recently, in fact 2 days ago, we got regular show, The Lost Tapes. And yeah, I watched it earlier today and I was actually surprised. I'm not gonna lie. Now at this point there will be spoilers, so if you don't want to hear any spoilers, if you don't want to get spoiled and want to watch this before you get told anything, of course click off this video or move on. But I was surprised, very surprised with how they segued from last regular show to regular show The Lost Tapes. And what I mean by that is, if you haven't seen it yet, or if you've already seen it, then obviously you know that in the beginning, the very first sequence is Pops in the afterlife. Holy shit. We got to see Pops in the afterlife with his brother, a couple other characters, you know, beloved characters throughout the franchise that we get to see and makes callbacks to. And so, of course, that beginning sequence shows Pops going around in the afterlife, enjoying himself. He gets to see a lot of his loved ones and, of course, his brother, you know, other various characters, and we get to see that. And so, throughout the story, he just gets to enjoy himself. And what these people in the afterlife get, they get these things called memory tapes. So they essentially get to play back everything they've done in their life and watch it like a TV show, which obviously is alluded by the end of regular show when Pops takes out the VHS tape and he's like, "Jolly good show," and all that different stuff. It still plays on that story by them having, and all these people in the afterlife, like everyone literally has like a memory tape. And so throughout the story or throughout the episode, Pops loses or breaks his VHS tape, or the regular show VHS tape. And so Pops and another character have to venture out to find possibly a copy of that tape, because of course Pops wants to be able to see his friends because he doesn't want to forget them. And they run into trouble because apparently everyone in the afterlife only gets one. You only get one memory tape, buddy. You lose it, you're gonna have to suck it up for the rest of eternity, or for eternity. There's no rest of it, just is. But they get one memory tape, and so Pops then is tasked with the goal of seeing if he can find a replacement of some type or a way to fix it. And so then he comes across some random VHS store or some shop place, and so they can't fix it, but gets aggressive, and the teller or the store clerk person is just go in the back, check it out. They go in the back. Another character is also with them because he's trying to achieve the same goal, and they eventually find a bunch of other tapes, not just the regular show tapes, but just a bunch of other tapes. And so then that's what alludes it to be called the lost tapes. And so obviously within these lost tapes are just based, just obviously it makes no shit, right? I know it's gonna be obvious, but then it's gonna show new episodes and new sequences, new things that happen that no one has ever seen before. So Pops discovers this box of a bunch of different tapes, and so then he goes home, hides, because he's getting chased down by some people, and so, or the Jimped, which are a group of people in the afterlife for some reason that are taking all these VHS tapes and trying to upload them into like stream stuff. So, and then just completely destroying the format of it, which reminds me of the format wars. And it's actually super cool to see how they're gonna play everything together. As an adult, I'm like hyper analyzing everything, but it's cool because it's like I like it like that. Because if I can hyper analyze it and I could still enjoy it, that means if I was a kid, I would have no problem with it. In fact, I would have been absolutely in love with it. And I would have never second guessed. It's whatever. And in fact, too, I know there was big talks is that the animation, some people were scared of the animation when it first came out, when some of the trailers came out. And I'm not gonna lie, I was a little curious. I was a little interested because, yeah, that's definitely, a thing where sometimes the animation or a certain art style of a show can be its theme and identity. And when that gets changed, people kind of notice and they are kind of hesitant to keep watching those shows because of those changes, because then it kind of sets them off or doesn't make them as comfortable because they're just like, what is this? And so some people had that concern. But when I watched the show, I thought it was good. I thought it was actually better. And so the technical reasons is because when they updated the studio, or the studio that is like reinstating regular show The Lost Tapes, their studio had different and updated changes with their technology and some of their, like their iPads or the stuff that they use to draw and do all that stuff. It got changed and updated, with whichever studio they were working with or they had to change with. So that's why there is a noticeable difference in the art style, or not like too much of a noticeable difference, but enough to where people were set off. But again, when I watched the episode, I thought it was fine. I actually really liked it. I think it's like not that crazy of a difference from a 9-year-old show, or a show that ended 9 years ago, but it actually feels improved and has added detail. Almost feels like there's more like effort into these scenes and these, in each frame and each, scene. Previously, before the old one, where it was a bit more stagnant and it wasn't so like movie and everything had detail with it, this one actually does, and I actually really like it. I think the animation is great. Going back to it, of course, Pops finds these lost tapes and goes back home. Make sure he isn't being followed by anyone because he's scared, of course. Of course, it's great to see Pops again. I know some of y'all are freaking out. I was a little I don't want to say zoned out, but a little like encapsulated by it. Like I was very focused on it because I was just like, holy shit, this is a really good reboot essentially, or just a continuation of regular show. I'm in love with it, and I'm not gonna lie, I give it a 10 out of 10, S plus tier. It's so far we've gotten the first 2 episodes, and you can watch them on YouTube for free if you want. That's what I did because I know I'm not gonna be able to watch it on cable or whatever, because I don't even know how I'd be able to find that. I can't even find that on just my regular stuff. But they're super amazing, super great, 11-minute episodes. So of course I know like it's not gonna be so like lore built up. So that's what the first episode was mainly about, was just trying to cater towards like the story of following up with regular show when it ends. And then the second episode just kind of goes into then going back to like the lost tapes and stuff like that. And so I'm pretty sure they're gonna go back and play on the lore with Pops in the afterlife and all that different stuff. Kind of go with a prequel and a sequel type of vibe, which is super amazing. Again, they executed pretty well so far, and if they keep doing it that way, then I don't doubt this will get a second season. So JQ Quintel or Cartoon Network. If for some odd reason, if y'all are seeing this, good job, guys. You guys are doing amazing. Animation is amazing. Story, lore, everything, how it's put together is super amazing. I know it's just a kids show, and I'm like, you're a grown ass man, but genuinely, I mean, most of us, including my people in my generation, are really somewhat looking forward to this because this is something we watched as kids, and haven't got anything new or anything from it since. And I think there's a lot of lore that could have been expanded upon that we got to see now, which was the aftermath of Pops and him sacrificing himself. So again, it's cool how it brings it all in together, and I think it's super amazing. I think we're gonna be in for a ride. And so season 2, I hope we get a season 2. That would be amazing. Just more add-ons and new lost, whatever. And so again, super excited. I think they did an amazing job. I would definitely recommend it. I don't have really much of a negative pushback, which is actually super rare because I'm always hyper analyzing of certain stuff, because if I can notice something that's a little bit off, then of course there's going to be some, whatever, like it's going to degrade it. And so obviously I try to be fair because it just really isn't that deep. But for me, in my mind, it just sometimes I like to look at intricate stuff like that. So if I don't even have a problem with it, I actually really like that. That's actually really good because that means that there's nothing that I can, in my mind, and it's crazy because like, for me, when it comes to music, I could listen to a song and something in the instrumental, the mixing, the vocals, and because I do it, so I'm very intricate with it. But when I listen to music, even music, I'm very hyper analyzing, and just one little thing can set me off, and that's what I'm thinking about. And it stems from ADHD because I also have ADHD. Wow, what a fucking surprise. But of course, things overlap. Things, super crazy. And so I'm always very hyper analyzing and very paying attention to detail. And the entire 2 episodes, I had not one issue. I think the only thing which isn't really much of a problem because again they're 11-minute episodes, is just the story build up and the emotional connection to be like, okay, this is what this episode is about, and this is what it all ends up for. It's hard to accomplish that within 11 minutes, which is why I'm trying not to care about it too much or try to look into it like that, because, again, they're 11-minute episodes. It's hard to make a whole build-up over 11 minutes. So, but it's super great. I have literally, besides that, I honestly think it's super great, a great show, a great reboot, something that you should definitely check out, and I'm super excited. We're not only getting that, we got Fallout season 3 with Aaron Paul making a appearance or making a debut in Fallout, which is super cool. Invincible season 5, which whenever that fuck's gonna come. But yeah, great stuff, great things are coming. I'm super excited about it. But if you haven't checked it out, I would recommend checking it out. If you haven't, you have no way to check it out like cable wise, go on YouTube. First 2 episodes are free. Not the actual buy to watch. The Cartoon Network YouTube account actually posted the both episodes in one, so I'd recommend checking it out. And if you really like it, then you can even figure it out on cable or buy the seasons and stuff. But I don't know about y'all, but I'm really in love with it. I think it's super great. I think it's super awesome to see like a reboot and how everything, we finally get an answer and almost closure to what happened. Like what happens after Pop sacrificed himself. And how the whole dramatic ending with, the park and all, Mordecai and Rigby growing up, Eileen, everyone having kids, and, super crazy happy ending. But with happy endings like that, you still have questions and you wonder, and, you always have, like, what ifs. And so this is one of those where I'm super happy they expanded upon by making it a sequel and a prequel. So, again, great stuff. I love it, and that's about it, man. Yeah, go check it out.